Welcome to Farming Aid. When you think of cattle, you might picture a sturdy animal grazing peacefully in a pasture. But today, we're not just talking about any ordinary cattle. We're diving into the world of the most awe-inspiring longhorned cattle breeds on the planet. These are the majestic beasts whose horns stretch so far. They seem almost unreal. Horns that twist, spiral, and soar with power, elegance, and sheer biological wonder. From the parched plains of Africa to the ranchlands of Texas, these cattle breeds have stunned farmers, tourists, and livestock enthusiasts alike with their enormous and sometimes record-breaking horn spans. If you thought cows were just for milk or meat, this video will completely change your mind. Welcome to the world of giant horned legends, cattle that look like they walked straight out of myth and legend. Let's begin our journey with perhaps the most iconic of them all, the Texas Longhorn. This American breed has become a living symbol of the Wild West, and for good reason. Its horns can span over 8 feet from tip to tip, making it one of the most recognizable longhorn breeds on Earth. These horns aren't just long. They curve and twist in ways that look like artwork sculpted by nature itself. The Texas Longhorn's roots trace back to Spanish cattle brought to North America in the late 1400s, and over centuries of natural selection in the harsh environments of the American Southwest. These cattle developed not only their distinct horns, but also a rugged survival instinct. What makes the Texas Longhorn even more impressive is its diversity. Each animal has a unique horn shape and pattern, making no two alike. In fact, the Guinness World Record for the longest horns on a steer is held by a Texas Longhorn named Pancho Villa, whose horns measured an astonishing 10 feet, 7.4 inches tip to tip. Yes, you heard that right, over 10 feet wide. That's wider than most cars. From America, we travel to the heart of Africa to meet the majestic Watusi, sometimes called the cattle of kings. One look at this breed and you'll understand why. With its gigantic, upward-curving horns that resemble the arms of a chandelier, the Watusi doesn't just impress, it commands respect. Indigenous to Uganda, Rwanda, and surrounding regions, these cattle have been revered by African tribes for centuries, not just for their beauty, but also for their cultural and ceremonial value. The Watusi's horns are not only massive in length, often reaching up to 8 feet, but they're also extremely thick and heavy, with a diameter that sometimes rivals a person's arm. These horns serve a purpose beyond looks. They're full of blood vessels and act like cooling systems in the hot African climate. One of the most famous individuals of this breed is a bull named C.T. Woody, who gained fame for his record-breaking horn circumference. His horns measured 40.7 inches around, making them the largest in terms of girth ever recorded. To see a creature like C.T. Woody in person is to witness living royalty among cattle. Now, let's head to Europe, where another longhorned wonder has roamed for centuries, the Hungarian grey cattle, also known as the Hungarian steppe cattle. These striking animals are not just impressive because of their long horns, but also due to their silvery gray coats and proud, noble posture. The horns of Hungarian grey cattle are long and upward-pointing, sometimes extending to 5 or 6 feet in length. These cattle are remnants of a time when oxen were crucial for plowing and transport across the vast Hungarian plains. Known for their hardiness and resistance to disease, they were nearly lost to history, but have been making a comeback thanks to conservation efforts. Watching a herd of Hungarian grey cattle move across a field is like witnessing a medieval pastoral scene come to life, majestic, powerful, and steeped in history. From Europe, we go east to the Indian subcontinent to discover another remarkable longhorn breed, the Cankerage Cattle. Native to Gujarat in India, these animals may not be as flashy as the Watusi, but their horns are undeniably impressive. Thick, upward curving, and symmetrical, Cankerage horns often reach lengths of 3 to 4 feet, but it's the elegance and strength of their curvature that makes them stand out. Used historically for both milk production and as draft animals, the Cankerage are known for their strength and endurance in hot, arid climates. Their horns are usually dark and sharply pointed, giving them a noble and alert appearance. Farmers in India consider them prized assets, not only for their utility, but also for their beauty. Speaking of beauty, no list of longhorn cattle would be complete without mentioning the Scottish Highland cattle. With their long, shaggy coats and wide, curved horns, these cattle look like something out of a fantasy film. They are among the oldest registered breeds in the world and are native to the rugged Scottish Highlands. While their horns might not always be the absolute longest in terms of tip-to-tip measurements, typically ranging from 3 to 5 feet, they have a distinctive charm and ferocity that comes from their sweeping, crescent-shaped curve. Highland bulls tend to have broader, more dramatic horns, while the females have longer, thinner ones that arc gracefully forward. These cattle are incredibly hardy, capable of withstanding freezing temperatures and harsh mountain weather. But it's their photogenic horns combined with their long hair that make them social media superstars and beloved farm attractions across the globe. Moving to Latin America, we meet a less well-known but visually striking breed, the Coriente cattle. Though smaller in size compared to Texas Longhorns or Watusis, Coriente cattle often have sharp, angular horns that extend wide and slightly upward, giving them a fierce and wild appearance. Originally descended from Spanish cattle brought to the Americas, they are agile, fast, and commonly used in rodeo events. Their horns vary widely in shape, from tight spirals to wide arcs, depending on lineage and genetics. Despite their size, the horns of Coriente bulls can reach up to 3 or 4 feet across, making them dangerous opponents in the ring and fascinating creatures to observe. Let's not forget about the Inguni cattle from southern Africa. While not as massive in horn length as the Watusi, Inguni cattle are unique for their horn variety and diversity in shape. Some curve outward and up, while others twist in mesmerizing spirals. Inguni horns are typically more slender, but can still reach impressive lengths. These cattle are deeply embedded in the culture of the Zulu people, often used in rituals and as symbols of wealth. Their speckled hides and dramatic horns make them a true feast for the eyes. They prove that horns don't have to be the longest to be impressive. Sometimes, shape and character say more than size. Another impressive breed, especially popular in rodeos and bull riding events, is the Brahman-influenced horned cattle, particularly in the American South. While pure Brahman cattle often have more modest horns, crossbreeds with Texas Longhorns or other horned cattle can produce bulls with massive sweeping horns. These are often raised as trophy animals, admired for their muscle mass and intimidating horn arcs. Some bulls in these breeds have horn spans well over 6 feet, especially when selectively bred for horn development. Back to the United States, a breed that has taken horn measurement to almost scientific precision is the Watusi Texas Longhorn crossbreed. Breeders looking to maximize horn size have begun combining the genetics of these two super horn breeds, resulting in cattle with both length and girth that defy belief. These animals are raised not just for livestock purposes, but as show cattle, often displayed at state fairs and specialty events. It's not uncommon for crossbred bulls to have horn spans close to 9 or even 10 feet, with dramatic twists and dips that make them walking works of art. One of the most mind-blowing examples of this extreme horn development is a bull named Cowboy Tough Checks, a Texas Longhorn who made history in the livestock world. His horns stretched to over 100 inches tip to tip. That's more than 8 feet of living horn on each side. What makes Cowboy Tough Checks so legendary isn't just the size of his horns. It's the perfect symmetry and curve that made him a genetic treasure for breeders. His offspring now command top dollar at livestock auctions, and his DNA is shaping the next generation of Longhorned legends. Let's wrap up our journey with a reminder. These animals are more than just their horns. Behind every massive span is a story of resilience, adaptation, and careful breeding. Whether surviving droughts in Africa, roaming deserts in the American Southwest, or thriving in icy Scottish Highlands, these Longhorn breeds represent the pinnacle of nature's ingenuity and human stewardship. Their horns serve as tools, weapons, status symbols, and natural air conditioners. But more than that, they're the ultimate symbol of strength, endurance, and beauty in the bovine world. So, the next time someone tells you cattle are boring, show them this video. These Longhorn titans are proof that cattle can be just as jaw-dropping as any wild animal. From the Texas plains to the African savanna, the Longhorn cattle of the world are massive, majestic, and unforgettable. Which of these breeds impressed you the most? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing animal content.